The mayor of Desert Hot Springs says he supports the governor's push for more low-income housing in the state, but also says hitting Gavin Newsom's housing goals could prove extremely difficult.
News Channel 3's Tom Tucker is live in studio with more on the next steps for Desert Hot Springs after Mayor Scott Mattis met with Governor Newsom last week in Long Beach to talk about the housing crisis.
Well, John and Karen, the city of Desert Hot Springs is among almost 50 cities in the state and the only city in the valley that is not compliant in meeting a state mandate for providing a required number of low-income housing units. Mayor Scott Mattis says he'd like to add housing, but says right now the relatively cool housing market is not providing enough incentive for builders to break ground. The 75-year-old Keith Hasselman says he's been homeless for 6 of the past 9 years. When hearing Monday about Governor Gavin Newsom's push for more low-income housing in Desert Hot Springs and elsewhere, he said this.
I love it because there's a lot of people that really need the help.
Governor Newsom is pushing a new 7-year plan for adding 3.5 million new homes in California, much of it low-income and affordable housing. But even before Newsom took office, Desert Hot Springs was and still is falling far short of a state mandate to add 4,900 such homes. Last year in the city, 47 permits were pulled, according to Mayor Scott Mattis.
We were in financial crisis at one point. When I became mayor, we sat down and made priorities, and one of our priorities in 2016 was to get our housing and general plan in compliance, and we're working towards that.
Mattis says developers of low-income properties are not building in the city right now and haven't been for a few years because the market is not providing sufficient profits.
We bring in developers to build homes or nonprofits to build homes. They have to make a profit, these developers, and so to make a profit they have to have a number here, and our numbers are here.
The mayor says one way to entice developers to build again is for the city to offer breaks on developer impact fees and permitting fees. But money to cover those costs, he says, would have to come from the $750 million the governor will seek from the legislature to jumpstart his housing program. These homes on Hacienda near Mesquite are just some of the roughly 5,000 low-income and affordable housing units already in the city. Mayor Mattis says the city becoming compliant with the state mandate for low-income housing right now simply has to do with the city finalizing housing plans or the housing element in the city's general plan, which is reviewed about every 6 to 8 years. He expects that to happen by October. Now, Mike Walsh, the deputy director for the Riverside County Economic Development Agency, says 30,000 people living in the Coachella Valley right now are rent burdened, meaning they're spending at least 30% of their income on their housing. In studio, Tom Tucker, News Channel 3.